Hello and welcome once again to Red Gaming Tech. My name is Amata. Today is the 25th of November, and this time I have some rather interesting news regarding Sony. Sony Computer Entertainment America will be offering Vita early adopters a small refund after settling with the FTC over allegations of false advertising during the console's launch. Now, basically, Sony is going to be offering early Vita buyers either a $25 cash refund or a $50 voucher on select SCEA games and services after settling in the dispute with the FTC. Now, just in case you kind of missed this when it originally came up, the FTC basically went after Sony with allegations that it misled consumers that with Vita ads that promised features that were either unavailable, rarely usable, or even differed greatly from that of the final product. Now, more specifically, they took issue with the early claims remote play, with the PS3. And as you may remember, if you are a PS3 gamer, this was something that very few PlayStation 3 games actually allowed. And also that PlayStation gamers would benefit from cross-platform play that would allow them to pause a PS3 game at any time and pick up where they left off on the Vita. Now, the FTC said in their report, quote, Sony claimed, for example, that PS Vita users could pause any PS3 game at any time and continue playing the game on their PS Vita from where they left off. This feature, however, was only available for a few PS3 games, and the pause and save capability described in the ads vary significantly from game to game. In addition, Sony failed to inform consumers to use this feature. Purchasers had to buy two versions of the same game, one for their PS3 and one for the PS Vita. The complaint further alleges that Sony also falsely claimed that the remote play feature PS Vita users could easily access their PS3 games on their handheld consoles. In reality, most PS3 games were not remote playable on the PS Vita. Now, what is kind of the killing blow is that apparently one Sony video ad demonstrated the remote play functionality with footage of Killzone 3, a game that was never compatible with remote play. Now, the complaint also targeted Sony's claim of live multiplayer on Vita via the built-in 3G network functionality, but as you may be aware, the console only allows for turn-based games to be played online via 3G. Now, in case you're wondering, in case you are one of the early Vita adopters, Sony will be sending notices for refunds via email following the conclusion of this settlement. Now, this is not exactly good news for the PS Vita, which has been kind of doing not great. Even the CEO, Andrew House, said back in July that the future of the PS Vita is uncertain everywhere but in Japan, and basically has been struggling as a device and has kind of become more to a home to indie games and PS4 remote play rather than first-party titles. So while it does PS4 remote play, pretty much as they said, as far as I'm aware, please do correct me if I'm wrong, I do not own a PS Vita, I own a PSP, but not a Vita. Obviously, with the PS3, they were kind of caught with their pants down, if I'm understanding this report correctly, and the fact that Sony settled, well, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't get into the nitty-gritty of the law or anything like that. I'm not even going to pretend to understand US law. I barely understand UK law sometimes, to be honest with you, given the strange decisions. Maybe scratch my head and go, eh? What? But still, it does seem that Sony kind of bent the truth. Even if they didn't tell complete lies, they did kind of falsely advertise saying that, oh, you can use remote play, and technically that's true, but they didn't specify that it's with select games, and they didn't specify that you need multiple versions, although I'd argue that would probably be obvious. But if you're not much of a gamer, you might not think that. You might think, oh, maybe it works through the cloud, you know, save files and stuff like that. You know, if I register, I've got this version on the PS3, I can use it on my Vita and stuff like that. You know, you might not know that if you're new to Sony or just new to gaming. It's, you know, I think that's fairly obvious, but I would say that as a fairly technical-minded person and someone who knows the console gaming and PC gaming space fairly well. So, yeah, bit of a mess, but you will be getting a little bit of money in your bank account if you are an early adopter of the PS Vita. Still, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this particular situation, and I'll see you next time.